And the other thing I wanted to tell you is yes, cleanliness is next to godliness. Wash your hands. Take as many baths as you want. Take as many showers as you want. Make sure your house is clean. I wasn't supposed to do that. Make sure your house is clean. Your bathroom is clean. Continue to, when you go in the bathroom, clean it so that you can use it. And after you use it, clean it again. Um, the other home remedy that I'm telling you about is eating raw garlic, raw red onions. I think that they're probably the most potent onions that we have. Cilantro, lime juice, which will give you the vitamin C, and black seed oil. I told you black seed oil is very good for diabetes and diabetic eye retinopathy. A lot of cures will dissipate if you are taking black seed oil. So I wanted to also tell you about that. Um, Another thing that it's a psychological warfare also. First of all, it's the germ warfare that's going on with the coronavirus. I told you it's depopulation. The powers that be are trying to get rid of us on a massive scale. So that's that entity. Then you have the mindset. Every time you watch television and the news, it's something much more deep, much more detrimental about this coronavirus. How many people have died? How many people are projected to die? How they don't have a cure for it? How the CDC keeps telling you that different places are being quarantined. Um, they're hurting us. They're hurting us like cattle to be quarantined, where it's going to be, I would say in 6 months' time, nobody's going to be working. Everybody's going to be on their computer screen, working from home, taking college courses at home, um, and nobody's going to be out on the street. I think that there are going to be government trucks out on the street. It's going to be martial law. And whether you know it or not, when you have martial law, you have to have explicit papers to go to work or even walk down the street. They will either arrest you or they'll send you back home. That's what martial law will do. I think that will be implemented. When the government shut down back last year in 2019, the government shut down because President Trump wanted the wall and shut down the government. A lot of people were out of work. 7 governmental agencies closed. People were out of work. They couldn't pay their um, mortgages. They couldn't pay their car note. Even some people were beginning to have difficulties in even going grocery shopping. So if martial law is projected, let's just say in New York, let's just say across the country, if martial law is projected across the country because people are out of work, people can't go and have their freedom, people are going to be afraid at the very beginning. Right now, people are very much afraid. Then the next plateau is that people are going to get irritated, and they're going to get angry, and then they're going to go out and riot. When people across the country start rioting, believe me, martial law will be implemented. And what are they going to do with the people who are very virulent in their rioting and their violence? They're going to put them in FEMA camps. Why do you think those FEMA camps were built? They were built because they have a projection. The cabal, the Illuminati, has a projection that all of these big box stores like Sears and Kmart that are now defunct, those have been retooled for to put the public in during the time of martial law. Uh, and I want to continue on. Vitamin B12 will keep you in a great mindset. It'll stop you from being depressed. That's another difficulty that we humans have when things are going on massively, like now. We get depressed, we get irritated, uh, and depression is quite insidious because many times you don't know that you have it, but you feel melancholy. If you don't, for some reason, don't want to take the vitamin B, excuse me, B12, incense. Any type of incense will bring your system up or your psyche up. It should make you feel better. Bright lights. Always be in a room with bright lights, and unless you want to go to sleep or take a nap or something like that, um, and get out into the sun as much as possible. And do the things that make you feel good, even if it's something as silly as watching cartoons to make you laugh, or watching things on television or cable, whatever, that boost your enjoyment. Watching sitcoms, like I said, watching cartoons, or whatever the situation is. Um, I spoke to you about hurting, the cabal, the Illuminati, and these people or governments, the Bilderberg Group, the royal family, who are all in one uh, ilk, as it were, are doing this. It's the population. What I'm projecting, or what I think will happen, and believe me, I hope I'm wrong because I'm part of this, right? I'm part of what, I live on the planet. I think what's going on is they're hurting us. They're hurting us like cattle, where we can't go to work, we can't go to school, we can't take college courses. So we're going to do everything by computer. Um, we won't be able to go across the street for anything. Everything is going to be ordered from the home. And people will deliver it, whether it's a governmental situation where they will bring food to the populace, or whatever the situation is. But we will not go to restaurants, we won't go to clubs, we won't go to uh, uh, basketball games, football games, hockey. It's a great possibility that the Olympics will be canceled. Already they're talking about the possibility of the Olympics being canceled. The uh, Irish Day Parade is has been pushed back, or it's not canceled as yet, but they're considering doing something with it. I don't know what. Uh, Television shows that have live audiences, like the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon and Late Night with um, Seth Meyers, are no longer going to have live audience. They're going to, I guess, they're going to just tape it. They're not going to have audience members at the taping. So what I'm trying to get at. So everything that projects a crowd, it's going to dissipate, going to be canceled, and I believe that, like I said, people are going to start rioting. Martial law will come into effect. A great percentage of people are going to be going to FEMA camps. And I think that in a year to 2 years, that it'll be a new platform. It'll be the new world order, where citizens will be um, in FEMA camps. I think that financial places like your bank, the Nasdaq, everything will stop, and then they'll bring about finances very slowly. I think a great percentage of us will not be able to get to our bank accounts. We won't get any checks, whether it's a check from work, or a SSI check, or whatever finances that there are. It's going to stop. Cash money is going to stop. Credit cards are going to stop. And then they're going to implement the RFID chip. I spoke to you about that in another video. The RFID chip, which will be projected in your right hand. It's as small as a grain of rice, and that'll be your money system. On that chip, will have everything about your background, including um, your DNA, RNA, um, uh, what should I call it? Antibodies, I guess you could call it. Your medical history is going to be on that chip, because a lot of us across the country have done those 23andMe um, test kits, where you swipe your inside of your cheek, and you send that off, and it tells you what background that you have. I never did it. There's more than one company. It's 23andMe, and then I think there are two more that I can't think of the name of it. And it comes back and it tells you, oh, well, your ancestors were from Italy or Yugoslavia or Romania or Russia or Germany, or you have Spanish in your blood system, or, you're from India or Africa, some country in Africa. Um, or that you're Native American, you're 70% Native American, or you're 25% Mexican, and 75% uh, Honduran, or whatever the situation is. They come back and they tell you what your background is according to the cells in your body, I guess. I don't really know how that works. So that's been going on for a very long time. And they have all of this information about you that you don't know about. When I was a kid, when I was born, they in the hospital gave me fingerprints. They took my fingerprints, they took my footprints, and they say at that time, like, and tell the mothers, oh, this is for the protection of your child. If your child is ever missing, we can look and see the footprints and fingerprints and find him or her. That's what they told mothers in the very beginning when they were doing the footprints back in the late 1950s and early 1960s. Everybody gets it done. That goes into an archive. That information goes into an archive in Washington, D.C., and it sits there. And now, from that time, from late 1950s, early 1960s, on through today, the 21st century, they have this information about all of us across the world, our fingerprints, our footprints, with this 23andMe um, uh, product. They can even tell you if you're going to have certain diseases, if you're going to have diabetes, or whatever the situation is. So they have a lot of information on us, even down to the cell phone. What do you do on your cell phone when you want to go to a different page, or you want to look something up on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram or Snapchat? You put your finger on the screen and you swipe. That's another way for the government to get your fingerprint. For some reason, if you never got your fingerprints or your footprints done when you were born, that's another way of the cabal to trace who you are, where you are at any given time. And so, how do I wrap this up? The coronavirus is ravishing the world. Like I told you before, um, Italy is on lockdown. Um, uh, Japan closed all of its schools. Um, Wuhan, China, uh, is in quarantine. Many places in China are quarantined. I heard the other day that they're now, and it's not being televised. The media is not really televising this, but I heard that there are dead people on the street within provinces of China, and the government is coming and picking up the bodies. So if you're walking down the street or you're driving down the street, you can see people laying on the street. Now, this is what I'm told. I did not see it, but I heard about it. I didn't even see it. I heard about it. So, as I've said in all of my videos, go out and do your own research. Don't take my word for any of this. I make these videos because I want to help people, whether it's with difficulties that I'm having, or cooking, or whatever the situation is. My aim is to aid people, to help people, to get people to be aware and to think. Who would think that the coronavirus is run by nanoparticles? Who would think that the nanoparticles are microscopic machines programmed via computers, and that it's dropped via chemtrails and then programmed to do whatever it's programmed to do by drones? And a lot of places within the country, in the different states, and we have Colorado, Arizona, people are now reporting that they see drones in the sky, and they're called their local sheriff's department or police department, and the police and sheriff don't even know uh, who owns those drones. And it could be 20 to 30 drones in the sky, and nobody's telling anybody what the drones are for or who is behind the drones, and they're traveling in fleets. These are the drones that cost maybe about $1,000 that you see in stores. Um, so it's all food for thought. Uh, like I said before, drink your hot toddy, make your hot toddy. Be clean with yourself. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Um, Stay out of public places as much as possible. Um, don't shake hands. You can always use your voice and say, hello, how are you? Good morning, goodbye, have a great day. I hope everybody's well, and I hope to see you again real soon. Thank you so much.